on ethnocentricism. That rather unhappy, ugly word, ethnocentricism, means placing your own ethnos or ethnic group at the centre of your world. And in principle, that sounds fine. We are what we are. We are born into whatever. I'm a Scot, 5/8 Scottish, and so I could place the Scots at the centre of the world and think of everyone else as different and perhaps not as good as I am. And we all need some sense of identity and ethnic alignment. The thing that has interested me as an anthropologist, though, is how that can be taken too far and people are blinded by it. They not only assume that their ethnic group is the centre of the world, but that it is better and that all other nations or tribes or ethnic groups should be judged as inferior. This is something which I suppose as an anthropologist is particularly interesting. Anthropology is the study of mankind, humankind, and therefore it looks at all sorts of different countries and peoples. And if it went out to do that with the idea that your own particular world was superior to other places and that other places were odd and strange and peculiar, whereas yours was normal and the right way, then you would learn very little and you would be judgmental. So we teach our students and we learn through studying other countries that that isn't the case. So I think I must have learnt that a little bit even as a child when I came back from one world, which was India in the last days of the British Empire, then to England. But certainly when I went to Nepal and China and Japan, this was drummed into me that these places, yes, they're different and they have different customs and traditions and myths and rituals, but they're not inferior. And so this is what I try to teach to my students. When I look around me, though, at my own country, particularly the British, for various reasons, being an island, being located on the edge of everywhere else. As one continental observer said, people who live in corners tend to think of themselves as different. So the British do think of themselves as special and different, as do the Japanese on another big island. And I think the British sense of mild superiority has obviously been heightened by the fact that for 200 years at least it was the centre of the world. From the later 18th century and the Industrial Revolution through to the Second World War, it built up. The First Industrial Revolution therefore became the most powerful nation on earth and in some way or other influenced or conquered a great portion of the globe. A fifth of the world's population was in the British Empire. And this made the imperial rulers, certainly, and many of them of my ancestors, feel that they were God's chosen people and they were there, perhaps kindly and benevolently and paternalistically, to rule other countries. And so what was British was right and what was un-British was a poor second best. This is all obviously changing. We live in a global world where we can't afford that kind of mentality and where we must share our planet with many, many other ethnic groups and become tolerant, interested, and understand each other in a new way. So ethnocentricism will decline, but we will still preserve, I hope, some kind of love and respect for our own ethnic group and its values and how they should be maintained, while equally respecting and maintaining those values in other peoples. So that is my goodwill message for the Queen's Silver Platinum Jubilee.